When a curse dies, it doesn't stay dead. It waits, it spreads, it finds a softer host. And in Silver Pines, the fire may be out, but the root still burns. Cal is asleep. No, not asleep. Still, his breath comes shallow. The sweat on his skin gleams under the flickering yellow light of a dying lamp. On his neck, just beneath the skin, a faint symbol pulses, the same mark branded into the altar during the ritual, the hybrid's brand. But now it glows red. The lamp flickers, then pops, darkness. He's in the spine again, but it's rotted. The altar is shattered. Mara is gone. The hybrid lies broken, dissolving into ash, and she's there, the widow. Her mouth doesn't move, but her voice infects the space. He gave you the blood, and now it sings, but not for you. Her hand reaches forward, bone fingers wrapped in mist. Let me show you the truth. The dream shatters. Cal sits up violently, gasping. His skin is steaming. His eyes flicker for just a moment. Not human, not beast, something in between. Mara's jeep pulls off the gravel road into dense brush. No roads lead here anymore. They shouldn't be back. But the signal that Cal's body gave off, it's pulling them. He's silent in the passenger seat, staring at his hand like it's foreign. Mara says he hasn't said a word since last night, but the forest has. The birds are gone, the wind's wrong, and something's calling. Again from the root. They stop near the old camp. The ground is wrong. It looks the same. Trees, moss, stones. But it feels hollow, like walking on bone. Cal steps out of the jeep. He walks in a slow circle, then says, finally, she's here. A massive charred tree stump, half buried, gnarled like a claw. Its center is hollow and carved inside, a newer version of the pact symbol, warped. Mara brushes away leaves from its base and finds bones, small, human, and carved into the bark above it, the widow's sigil fresh. She didn't just survive, she planted herself in the roots, in the bones, in the bloodline that carried her forward, not a creature, a person, half naked, ranting, a man, early 40s, shirt shredded, limbs twitching unnaturally, his mouth dripping foam. He stumbles into view and collapses on his back, carved into his skin with exacting detail, the same hybrid brand, but not glowing, infected. Mara kneels beside him. He grabs her shirt. They're not dead. She's just wearing them now. And then he screams, not in pain, in shift. His bones begin to bend, not smoothly like a werewolf or dogman, but wrong. Jagged angles, twitching motion. His eyes burst, his jaw unhinges, skin peels in strips. Something inside him is trying to become something else. Then his heart stops. His body collapses. The shift fails. Whatever she passed through the blood, it's not a gift. It's not a curse. It's a key. And most who turn it don't survive the door it opens. Mara and Cal stand in silence until Cal says, "This isn't over." He lifts the man's body, turns to the forest, points deeper. She's awake now. In a hidden glade deep beneath a root-covered stone chamber, the widow stands before a wall of mirrored blood. Dozens of distorted reflections stare back at her. Some are werewolf, some dogman, some human. She smiles. "One of them will accept it," she whispers, "and he will be mine." After the fire, after the pact, he vanished. Some said the hybrid returned to the mountains. Others said he died. But he never left the forest, and the forest never let go of him. Stone cracked by roots, windows shattered. Inside, silence. Then a flicker, a pair of glowing gold eyes in the dark. The hybrid sits against the altar, breathing slowly, his body bandaged crudely in moss and leather. One arm trembles with every breath, but it's not the wound that worries him. It's the sound in the walls, scratching, whispering, not in words, in memory. He lifts a stone fragment, carved with the original pact rune. He's been keeping it close. It glows, then dims, then glows again, unstable. His mind, memory storm, the altar cracking, the widow's face in the mist, Cal glowing faintly, Mara holding a blade she doesn't remember picking up. Red moon splitting like a wound, the hybrid gasps, and now he's not alone, not human, not beast, a malformed thing, skin pale, hair matted. Its limbs too long, too bent, eyes like melted glass. It clings to the ceiling like an insect watching. It doesn't breathe, it doesn't move, until the hybrid stands. Then it mimics him, twitch for twitch, like a reflection twisted by memory. Widow's children are not born. They are harvested, cultivated, sculpted from failures. And now they've begun to follow the scent of blood that survived the pact. The creature lunges, fast. The hybrid catches it mid-air, claws flashing. It screams, a sound like a dying bird in reverse. They slam into the altar. The walls pulse with light. The hybrid howls, not in pain, but in rage. The creature dissolves into black mist, and something drips from the ceiling. Red, not blood. Sap from a tree growing through the stone. He touches it, sees a vision. The widow, standing before a great tree of flesh and bone, she whispers, "This forest bore you, and it will bury you." Mara marks the map. They're heading to the Weeping Hill, an old cryptid migration ground. Cal is quieter now, focused, but his shadow is wrong. It moves a second late, and it's starting to twitch when he doesn't. Mara notices, says nothing. Instead, she opens the last page of the journal, the page her grandfather said not to read. It's blank until blood drips on it. Then words appear, in a language she doesn't know. A sealed bunker, flickering lights. One agent left alive, scribbling in panic. He's replaying footage. The widow, in a reflection, not caught on direct camera. Behind her, the hybrid, walking like a puppet. She's tethered him, the agent whispers. She didn't want to kill him. She wanted to keep him dormant. He looks into the camera. If the hybrid falls, the forest opens. The screen cuts to black. Blood sprays the lens. The sky is red, not metaphorically, physically, visibly. The trees are leaning inward like they're watching. And outside the cracked window, Cal stands there, staring, smiling. But Cal isn't there. The blood carries echoes of pain, of possession, of prophecy, and the hybrid, for all his strength, was born from a cursed pact, sealed in a lie. The hybrid speaks aloud. Finally, she's inside us now, and somewhere, through tree, through wind, through fire. The widow answers, "And one of you will let me stay." The Weeping Hill earned its name the day the first hybrid howled. The ground cracked open and never stopped. They say if you put your ear to the stone, you'll hear what the forest tried to bury. Tonight, someone is listening. The hill rises like a tumor in the forest, smooth, moss-covered, too symmetrical to be natural. The trees avoid it. Even the birds stop singing. Mara climbs first. Her boots crunch on soft, bone-dry moss. Cal follows silently, still clutching the cursed journal. He hasn't blinked in 2 minutes. The hybrid watches from the tree line. He's keeping his distance now, but the bond between him and Cal hums in the air. A tether, not of choice, of curse. At the hill's summit lies an old stone ring, broken pillars, etchings half swallowed by time. She kneels and brushes away debris. The symbol returns, the widow's sigil. But older, weathered, chiseled in fury, not faith. Below it, scratched in newer lines by a hand that bled. We were all her sons. The first hybrids weren't born from union, they were carved from contradiction. The widow didn't want peace. She wanted vessels, hosts strong enough to contain what she carried. He drops to his knees, shaking. His eyes roll back. Black liquid leaks from his tear ducts. The hybrid steps forward from the trees. Mara snaps around, gun raised. The hybrid stops, raises both hands. He speaks, first time in front of her. He's not changing. He's overwriting. He sees the altar again, but this time, it's him performing the ritual. The werewolf and Dogman kneel before him, and behind him stands the widow, smiling like a proud parent. She leans forward and whispers, "You were the last born of the first blood, the one untouched by the pact, the clean vessel. All I need is your name." Cal whispers it. We can't hear what he says, but she can, and it's enough. His pupils stretch vertical. His voice is double-layered, his and hers. The pact was broken because I was never part of it. He smiles at Mara, but now I will be the last one standing above it. The hybrid steps forward, says nothing, just locks eyes with Cal. They both pulse faintly, gold and red, fighting for control. The forest reacts, wind rises. Leaves spiral, the hill moans, ground splits open. Not from impact, from memory. The moss peels away like skin. Beneath it, bone shaped into steps, leading down into the womb of the widow. She didn't die when the forest burned. She rooted herself deep into marrow, into stone, into lineage. And now she calls her child home. Mara steps back. "You're not Cal." Cal tilts his head. No, but he's watching. And I think he wants to see how this ends too. Mara follows reluctantly. The hybrid flanks her. Cal leads them down into the bones of the hill. It's damp, wet stone, whispering roots. The air feels alive. They descend until they reach a circular chamber, carved with hundreds of names. Most are scratched out, except 3 glowing fresh, Maracalthi, hybrid, and beneath them, the widow suddenly. The chamber glows, roots writhe, a voice echoes, distorted but familiar. All stories end in blood, but some begin again, if the body can hold it. The earth quakes, and something begins to climb from the wall. Not a form, a soul. Beneath Weeping Hill, the forest keeps its original sin. Not in bone, not in blood, but in blueprints. Because the widow didn't want an army, she wanted heirs. The chamber pulses with a sickly orange light, cast from veins running through the stone like arteries in a living thing. Mara steps cautiously across a floor that feels soft, like damp flesh. The walls are carved with forms, not quite beasts, not quite men, each in stages of mutation. Some look eerily like the hybrid, others like Cal. Cal stands at the far end, back to them. He's touching one of the carvings, a woman tall and robed with empty eyes and a crown of living roots. He whispers, "She was the first to survive it." The hybrid growls, not out of rage, out of recognition. He steps forward, his body flickers, his shadow splitting for a moment into 2 distinct shapes, one wolf-like, one almost human. The third, something coiled, undefined. At the center of the chamber is a massive black stone cradle filled with dark liquid, floating inside, a pulsating, fetal mass not quite formed. It twitches, it breathes, it watches. She left pieces of herself behind, not to remember, but to regenerate. This is her next form. Mara reads the writing etched into the base of the cradle. It's in the same runes as her grandfather's last journal page, but now she can read it. Her voice shakes, the body breaks, the vessel blooms. When the name is given, the soul returns. She stares at Cal. He smiles. She's not inside me, I'm inside her. And she's almost ready. The widow's original form. The chamber floods with a projected memory. A woman of 2 races, shunned by both. A pact rejected. Torture. Fire. But her blood didn't burn. It took root. She grew through death. She learned how to weave new bodies from old pain. He places his palm on the cradle. The creature inside stirs, almost in recognition. Mara pleads, "Don't touch it. It's feeding off you." He turns, eyes glowing. Not gold, not red. black. It already has me. It always did. Suddenly, the walls pulse. Roots lash out from the walls, wrapping around Mara and the hybrid. Cal walks toward them, voice layered with the widow's cadence. She waited centuries for a vessel strong enough to carry both lines. Your blood, my will, her soul. You weren't her enemy, hybrid. You were her first attempt. All this time, the war was never between beasts. It was between mothers and their failed children. The hybrid roars, his body surging with energy. His claws light up with both pact symbols, wolf and dogman, layered. He rips free of the vines, tackles Cal into the altar. The cradle cracks. A fetal mass inside screeches. High-pitched psychic. Mara breaks loose, slams her blade into the rune that powered the chamber. The light dies, the roots writhe violently, pulling back. The chamber begins to collapse. A womb unfulfilled becomes a tomb unfinished. The widow isn't dead, but now she's untethered. Cal's body lies twitching in the darkness. The hybrid grabs Mara and hauls her upward. The steps crack behind them. The earth screams. They burst through the hilltop just as the ground caves inward, leaving a perfect crater of ash and steam. No sound, just wind and the feeling that something got out. They stare at the sky. The moon is pale, but it's no longer full. It's waning, and something is moving inside it, like roots beneath glass. You can stop a body. You can silence a voice. But when a soul finds soil, it grows again. Curses don't just kill, they repurpose. They recycle the body, bend the blood. And now, her breath moves through the towns beyond the trees. The bell above the diner door chimes. No one enters. Behind the counter, the cook, a big man with arms covered in faded tattoos, flips pancakes with robotic rhythm. A waitress walks by and winces, touches her neck behind her ear, a vein that pulses too fast. She doesn't notice the customer at table 3 because he wasn't there before and he isn't eating. He's just whispering to no one. The widow didn't need a vessel to return. She needed a distribution method. Mara's hands shake as she loads her weapon. Not silver bullets, something older, blessed ash. Salt-wrapped iron, symbols etched into the casings. The hybrid paces nearby, sniffing the wind. He stops. His ears flick. He snarls softly. She's already taken 4. Mara looks up. People? He nods. Whole families. They didn't shift. They just stopped being people. Subject 12 reciting words in unknown tongue. Again, not conscious. Subject 13 has not blinked in 9 hours. Subject 14 attempted to implant a twig in his own eye socket. Static. Whatever this is, it's not viral. It's ideological. Inside, pews are full, dead silent. People sit, hands folded, all eyes closed, all lips moving. No sound, just mouths forming shapes. At the pulpit, the same man from the diner, now in a tattered priest's stole, stands with arms out. The wall behind him is growing roots, real ones. Through stone, they enter a house just outside the town. Wallpaper is peeled in claw shapes. Mirrors are covered. On the kitchen table, a child's drawing, a stick figure with roots instead of arms. It's titled, "She Said I Can Stay Forever." The hybrid drops it like it burned him. Mara flips the page. On the back, the widow's sigil, drawn perfectly by a child. She's not reborn in blood but in memory, and memory is contagious. A neighbor comes to the door, pale, twitchy, too polite. He smiles, asks Mara, "Have you heard the whispers?" She says nothing. He tilts his head. "It's all right. They said you'd come." Suddenly, his fingers snap backward. He screams, not in pain, in joy. He begins to shift, but not into beast, into bark and root. His skin splits. Roots pour from his mouth. He walks backward into the woods, body cracking until he's gone. They return to camp. Mara is pale. The hybrid watches her for too long, finally says, "You touched the cradle, didn't you?" She doesn't answer. Her hand brushes her stomach. She hasn't told him what she saw. Not yet. There are infections and there are incubations. And some truths are best buried beneath the bones. They hear something in the woods. Rhythmic. Footsteps. The hybrid stands, eyes wide. He whispers, "It's him." But something is off. It looks like Cal. But not broken, not sick. Perfect. He walks into the light, smiling. She says, "Thank you." He says, "I'm ready to bloom now." Every curse has a bloom, not a death, a flowering. And now, beneath the blood-red moon, one of them will open. Cal stands alone. His skin is flawless, hair neatly swept. No sign of infection, but every movement feels practiced, artificial behind him. The town glows faintly, not from streetlights, from bioluminescent veins growing across rooftops. The widows reach. He smiles as Mara and the hybrid approach. "You made it," he says. "She's almost ready." The hybrid steps forward, claws low. "You're not him." Cal's smile doesn't waver. No, but he still sees through the eyes. A ring of trees surrounding them begins to warp inward, not falling, bending, like bones bowing to something sacred. Above them, the moon splits, not fully, just enough to show something moving inside it. Roots writhing. Mara's breath catches. "You brought her back." Cal shrugs. She never left. She just needed a garden. She sees her grandfather, sees herself as a child, hand in his, a ritual stone, a whisper. "One day, they'll try to replant her, and you'll be the soil." She thought it was a dream, but the symbol on her back, one she never remembered getting, pulses now. He turns to Mara. "You're carrying it. She marked you." Mara nods. "But I haven't accepted it yet." The hybrid steps toward Cal. Cal raises one hand, and the trees react. Roots launch from the ground like spears. The hybrid dodges, claws flashing. He barrels into Cal. The fight is not primal, it's spiritual. Their strikes echo with soundless shockwaves. Each blow splits light and memory. The hybrid strikes Cal's chest, and images burst. The pact. The widow's birth. The hybrid as a child, raised by both alpha and shaman. Cal, born not from woman, but crafted from discarded bloodlines. A contingency. They were both made to end the war. But one was made from peace and the other from control. Cal stumbles, bleeding, but his blood is glowing white. He grins. She's in the roots now. You can't burn the ground. Mara's final choice. She steps forward, hands shaking. She pulls a dagger. Not silver, ashwood, blessed by blood from both lineages. One item her grandfather warned her never to use. She looks at both of them. "If I kill either of you, I become her." The hybrid nods. Then, "Don't kill, consume." Mara plunges the blade into her own chest. Everything stops. Cal screams. The moon cracks further. The earth shudders. Her blood hits the pact rune etched into the ground, and it glows gold red, a color not seen before. The roots begin to retract. The veins across the town sizzle. The widow's cry fills the sky, not as a voice, but as thousands of flowers blooming instantly across the field, each one black, each one blind, and then they wither. Mara lies still. The hybrid kneels beside her. Cal is gone. No body, just a small sapling where he fell. The pact rune carved into the bark. Some curses end in fire, some in flesh, but this one ended in choice. The widow is not dead, but her bloom has failed. And somewhere, a new garden waits. A storm brews. The forest shifts, and behind the trees, something bigger moves. Cryptids not seen before. Not werewolf, not dogman. Something newer. He stands. She may have failed, but something still grew. To be continued in War of Beasts, Bloom Rot, and for those who hunger for more. Step deeper into the shadows with our ultimate werewolf horror playlist, linked in the description below. In the world of horror, the scariest things happen when you least expect them. And trust me, you don't want to be left in the dark. Welcome to the darkness.